there are ways to garner all of the facts that you would find on a fact finder and not be an order taker at the same time. Like, okay,
Hmm.
Ryan, what's in your bank account? Great. Okay. And what do you have in what's your 401k balance? Okay, perfect. That is also not successful because, well, quite frankly, anybody can do that. But what you can do is
Hey everybody, welcome back to Annuity Fundamentals. I am your host, Kylee Mollotte, joined with our co-host, the one and only Mr. Ryan Anderson. Today we have a very special guest. Ryan and I travel to a lot of different places throughout the year, different conventions, different meetings, and we actually had the pleasure of running into Garrett a few times last year and really got to know him and very like-minded people. So today we get the great opportunity to meet with Garrett and talk with him. Garrett Burrow, he is the COO of Roy Snar Retirement Solutions. And so he's been in the annuity game for a while, and he's really, like Ryan and I, he wants agents to be successful. So he and Roy and their academy down there in Texas do a great job of that. So we appreciate you coming on, Garrett, and we look forward to chit and chat with you.
no, we really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Now, thing about it is you're not just the COO down there of Roy's organization. You also have co-authored a couple of books with him, one on Social Security and the other one, what was the topic of the second one? I forget. I've got it in my notes
We
here.
Yeah, we did. It was long-term care, underserved aspect of the asset protection space, long-term care.
Now, in addition to all of those different things here, you're also the co-founder of the SNAR Agent Academy, which is a training organization that we're going to want to talk about and kind of get into today, and then also a co-founder of AnnuityProducers.com. And that is really what we want to talk about today, is that this whole podcast and everything that we talk about is how you take Medicare and life agents and get them to bring annuities into their business. Now, one of the things about that, and that's really what you and Roy and your organizations down there are all about, is to try to help agents sell more and that aren't currently producing to be able to step into that space and realize that this is not nearly as daunting as possible. When like Kylee kind of alluded to, we met you first when we were down there at Cody Askin's 8% Nation in Springfield, and then we attended your event in Austin last year, which I've got to say is one of the most impressive events I've ever been in, because it spoke to me in the fact that it was not fluff. It was not rah, rah, rah. It was step one. This is how you sell an annuity. And here are some people that have done it. Here's people that have gone through and were not annuity salespeople, and 3 years later, they're doing $20 million a year. Here are the tools you need. Here is, Bill Broich, the first guy to ever do $100 million in annual premium. And he's on the stage. And yes, if you want to talk to me, here's my phone number. I mean, really, really quality stuff. Now, as we're talking about this, you've got a bunch of things going on out there. You've got a bunch of the academies, the trainings, and all of this going on. If you were to go through and see a new agent today, and somebody who's been in the business a year or so they've got the foundation, fundamental pieces of, I know how to sell my gateway solution, whether that's Medicare or life. How do I get into annuities? What would you tell them?
Yeah, well, so first and foremost, I mean, that's why we formed Annuity Producers in the first place. Was we are agents, we are writing the business, and we wanted to give back to the agent community. So first and foremost, the low-hanging fruit for me is we actually host a live Zoom training call at 11 a.m. Central every Thursday, and it's completely free to join. So anybody can join, whether you literally don't even have a contract in the annuity space, but you're just curious and interested, versus folks who are already in the space, already selling, but want to grow and scale their practice. And we just discuss a different topic every week, and it's our own trials and tribulations and things that we're going through and current events that are happening in our own practice. And we'll do live case designs. We'll do marketing ideas, like $0 marketing ideas, where you can kind of market to your own book of business, especially if you're in a different line of coverage like Medicare, final expense, and things like that, where you already have a book of business. So, just kind of things like that. And that's, like I said, it's every Thursday, 11 a.m. Central, and it's completely free. So the reason why we decided to do that, we used to charge for that training, but we decided that we, as agents, really wanted to give back to the agent community. And to y'all's point, again, that's why we formed Annuity Producers, which really it's a non-biased sort of think tank or mastermind group of agents across the country, and folks who are new to the space and folks who are really seasoned in the space. And it's just like I said, it doesn't require you to, write business through a particular organization or anything like that. You can write wherever you want, hang your hat wherever you want, but everyone can kind of just get together and just a non-biased platform for everybody to sort of share ideas. And our theory is all ships rise with the tide. So, if you can learn something from somebody who's already successful in the business, awesome. And if you're already successful and you can teach somebody something that's going to make them successful, also awesome. So that's kind of, that's where we're at. And that's what I would say first and foremost for agents who want to grow and scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And I, like Ryan said, I so appreciated that about your guys' event in Austin. It was very real. I mean, I'm a baby in this industry. I've only been here for 5 years, and so I've been to a lot of conventions. I don't know, 2 to 4 a year for the first couple of years. So I've been to a couple different events, and that was by far just like the most meaty. You go to a lot of events, and it does get rah, and like you need some energy. I'm not saying that that's not a good thing, but I appreciate that you guys are also producers. So you're still producing. So when you got up, your team, when you guys got up on the stage, and it was just like, all right, here's what we do. It's so nice. At Annuity Fundamentals, we do the same thing. Ryan and I always talk about like, gosh, why are there so many gatekeepers? Garrett, have you ever called one of my leads?
One of your leads? Yeah, I was going to say, not that I know
right?
of.
I've never called your lead. I've never called
Right.
Ryan's lead. So it's like, guys, there's 10,000 people turning 65 every single day. I think we're okay, right? Like, there's enough to go around. Like, let's put our heads together and serve these people the best of our abilities. I mean, I agree. When you all like collectively think and just try and be better, it's just going to make the industry better and the industry more accepted. There's a reason why annuities, when you ask someone, have you heard of have you heard of an annuity? And sometimes their face is like, no, I'm not interested, because there's so much negative connotation. So it's agents like us and that what we're doing to say, hey, we need to do a better job of helping agents educate clients on what an annuity looks like, because it is such an appropriate vehicle for retirement. So what you guys do at the Academy and what we do at Annuity Fundamentals, I think we really do go hand in hand and just trying to help agents step up to the next level. So since you've been doing this, what are the biggest takeaways that you see new agents, the biggest mistakes that they make that you're like, okay, I see this again and again. It's a pattern that if I could just nip that, they would be 10 times more successful?
No, great question. And I think right off the top of my head, the very first thing, and it's a mistake that I made when I was a new agent too, and so this is the first thing that I try and stress to new agents in the space, is that you are not a salesperson, you are an educator. If you try and sell someone an annuity, you've already failed. Right? If anyone could say, okay, you got 100 grand, here's what 100 grand can do for you, and I'm going to sell you this, right? That's not what you should be doing, though. Rather, educating. And so this comes from first educating yourself, understanding what annuities are and how they work, but also understanding other financial vehicles. Because if a client has, X amount of dollars, he or she can put it in annuities or various other investment vehicles. So why an annuity? Why would I want to invest in an annuity versus going into the stock market, into mutual funds, into a money market account, into a myriad of other different options and opportunities? But once you kind of establish your own base of knowledge a little bit, and again, don't need to reinvent the wheel. Don't make that a barrier to entry, right? You have to, get out there in the field. But showing a client and asking a lot of questions, asking the client's questions, what are your goals? What's the purpose of the money, and what do you hope it to accomplish? And understanding and really becoming, developing not only a personal connection with the person to whom you're speaking, but also simply just to provide an education. Here are the basic principles of annuities. Here's what they can accomplish. That, in conjunction with hearing what their goals are, is going to lead and focus and direct that conversation, so that rather than just say, hey, I can sell you this, you're saying, well, what if I had a solution that was going to take care of that worry that you had about outliving your assets, or about losing money in a down market, or the various different things that are on the mind of the prospect. If you already know those two pieces and you simply provide the education, the annuities will quote unquote sell themselves over the course of time, because the prospect is going to see the value. You're providing value, and they will actively seek that out from you.
One of the things about what you just said that really struck a core with me when we were in your event down in Texas. And that was as they were getting up there, and they had that with annuityfundamentals.com, our training program. It is a 6-week long class, and we teach 3 things in that first 6 weeks: how to properly introduce yourself, how to do a proper fact finder, and how to tee up an opportunity. That's it. That's a 6-week course. And we tell people that. I was like, that's not so hard. And I was like, well, yeah, then why aren't you selling annuities? But the thing about it is that the whole education first. You've got to educate yourself so you know how to do it. That we are not salespeople. That we're actually educators to help them with that. And as I was looking at that, it was funny because some of the fact finders you guys had, they passed out, which is, I got to give you guys props for this. If you go to the websites that we've talked about, to the annuityproducers.com, to the SNAR Agent Academy, you guys give everything right up front. It's on the website. You don't need to. You can just go on and download it, and it's there. You're not holding anything back. We've all been to training courses. In fact, I've had guests on this podcast that say, we've got this great thing and it'll do X, Y, Z for you, and it's going to do this, 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 and this. And you join our class and we'll tell you what those things are. No, you guys don't do that. It's like, okay, if you want to sell annuities, if you want to do this, here are the books you need to go through. Here's the fact finder. Here's a copy of it. Here's how you explain it. And there's the videos, everything. It's out there free. Anybody can see it, which I am really impressed with. And the thing about it is that I was meeting with an agent here a few years back, and I said, and I was like, how did you do this? I said, and he said, let me send you a PowerPoint. And he went through and he says, I've given this training lots of times. And what I have found is that people will look at it and they won't implement it. And it said, so it doesn't do me any. It's not really risking me anything to give it to everybody, because the actual implementation of it scares people, or they think that it's more complex than it really is. And the coming back to having a consistent system that you use every single time. One of the things that always cracks me up when I get a new agent, tell me if you've had a similar experience to this. A new agent comes in. I've got a great client. We just did a Medicare thing. They want an annuity. Give me an illustration so I can send it to them. And I'm like, all right, you're going to just send them the illustration? Yeah. And I was like, okay, the sale's going to fail and you're not going to close it, right? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to send it to them. They're going to see how cool it is. And it's like, yeah, that's not how this works. You need to teach them first about what an annuity is. You need to teach them first. You don't just see that they've got $100,000 that they're looking to invest. That you have to go through and work the system. You need to educate them. You need to explain to them the actual fact finder. You don't just mail them a fact finder and say, here it is, go to town. I mean, have you ever seen an annuity close that way?
No, not one time. It's funny that you mentioned that. So to your previous point, yes, we do kind of give away the keys to the kingdom, and we do that on purpose because it's the same thing as what we were saying before. We consider ourselves primarily, first and foremost, to be educators, and we do see a lot of gatekeeping in the annuity community and everything. And that's what Annuity Producers was designed to do, was to work with folks like Annuity Fundamentals, who on paper, ostensibly, we could be considered competitors, if you will, but to Kylie's point, have we ever called each other's leads? No, of course not. So again, it's collaborating and finding value in each other and the experiences that each of us all have to make all of us better at the same time. So yeah, we don't really feel the need to keep things behind the scenes. We do have a monthly subscription that we do offer for various other services, but everything that we've talked about today is 100% completely free. So that's what we want to focus on, of course. And then Ryan, to your point, yes. Going back to being an educator, there are ways to garner all of the facts that you would find on a fact finder and not be an order taker at the same time. Like, okay, Ryan, what's in your bank account? Great. Okay. And what do you have in what's your 401k balance? Okay, perfect. That is also not successful because, well, quite frankly, anybody can do that. But what you can do is you can figure out different ways and nuances to have conversations where you can garner all of that information. And to Ryan's point also, if anybody called me and said, hey, run me an illustration because these people want an annuity, I wouldn't even know where to begin to run the illustration because they are so customizable and they are so nuanced. And so the first question I would ask to an agent is, did you ask them about the big four? And the big four to me are, number one, first and foremost, goals. What is the purpose of the money of the client and what do they want it to accomplish? Because some folks would say that legacy is more important. They want to leave something behind for their kids and grandkids, their church, their favorite charity. Some folks want to burn it to the ground. My kids are grown. Everything's good to go. I want to spend my last penny the day before they put me in the grave.
That's
cool.
Me. That's me right there. That's me. I'm that one.
There you go. But
I want it to be a sad day when I die. So,
well, I've never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul, so you can't take it with you, right? It's just one of those things. So, but again, is safety their primary concern, right? So we need to know what their goals are because that's going to first and foremost focus and direct the conversation. And then even knowing what the goals are, the next question I would ask to a new agent who wanted me to run an illustration is, okay, what's their income and what are their expenses? Because we need to know where we stand, what's on the table in terms of that. And then it's a three-pronged question on the income is, what is their income now? What is their projected income in retirement? And have you had the awkward conversation of what their income's going to look like if one spouse passes away? Or if they're not married, if they pass away, what's the legacy going to look like for their kids? And it's the conversation that nobody wants to have. But in the asset protection space, it's the most important conversation to have because folks don't take into consideration, for example, if they're both collecting Social Security, one spouse passes, that's a whole Social Security benefit that they've been accustomed to receiving that goes away. They only keep the higher of the two benefits. So that's prongs 2 and 3 is understanding those against what are their current expenses, what are their expenses going to be in retirement or projected therefore. And then the fourth question, which is what a lot of new agents tend to lead with, is what do their assets look like? So what do they have that they can use to accomplish these goals that they have, right? But you can get, by the time you've gone through and presented a value proposition to understand what the client's goals are, and then in order for you to be able to help them achieve those goals, you need to have some additional information. By the time you get to, Ryan, what's in your bank account? Kylee, what's your 401k balance? You're already established a value proposition of why you need that information in the first place. When you have the goals, the income, the expenses, and the assets, then you can come to someone like Ryan, Kylee, or myself and ask for an illustration because we'll know how to write an illustration that's going to provide a solution for what the pain points are for your prospect.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we do a lot of training, and I think the biggest thing that agents have trouble with is, what do I say? And I think really the question should be, what do I need to ask? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not my retirement. It's not your retirement, right? It's their retirement. So they need less talking from us, more educating. But what do they need? The first of yours is the same as ours. What are your goals? I mean, really, that's how you get a client to open up. If you're looking for language to say, hey, what am I going to do? How do I get this client to like me? Ask them questions about themselves. Get them to open up. Hey, because they know. I mean, we all know if you don't have, $3 million or more in total assets, your retirement needs paid attention to.
Yeah.
It really does. And the majority of people we see have $1 million or less. So middle America, and they're having these conversations with themselves or in their head. They're thinking about it every day. So as an agent, what a blessing that is to go into a home, educate on Medicare, and then ask them, so what are your goals in retirement? I don't just deal in Medicare. I don't just deal in life. I'm actually an asset protector. Let's have this conversation. And then by asking questions, right? What are your goals? What does your income look like? What about, just asking those questions? It really gets them to also think, well, I do need a different solution, because just saying, I have a lump sum of $400,000. Now what? Right? Yeah. So be the now what? Be the now what person. Be in there and say, okay, this is some solutions that we can come up with. So I guess when you're in these classes, right, on Zoom, and you're going through, like, let's say a case design. I know a lot of agents through our classes too, that is very intimidating. Where would you say this is a good place to start?
Good place to start in terms of, trying to design your own case
Yeah.
or, yeah. I mean, I guess it kind of harkens back to exactly, what we're saying in the previous, and it's a combination of a lot of different factors all working in concert with each other to make sure that you're providing the best recommendation. So, it's knowledge first and foremost, like what we said before. You have to establish that base of knowledge. I think mentorship in this business is extremely important. I think I was fortunate enough, and what is now my business partner, Roy Snar. A lot of folks probably watching this have heard the name. It's becoming more and more of a household name. But when we first met, I mean, and still to this day, very much, Roy is my mentor in a lot of ways. And so finding someone in the business who is successful and trying to find ways to mirror that success while still finding your own voice, because there's not one path that's going to lead everybody to success. Finding the knowledge, finding the mentorship. Finding somewhere that you are comfortable with, every new annuity agent, you're going to have to get your contract somewhere. So make sure that wherever you go, it's somebody that you trust and believe in, that has the same integrity and the same values that you have, and shop around. You're not pigeonholed to one place or another. And that's something that we stress at Annuity Producers. We don't care if you're writing business through the same place that we are or the same place that Ryan and Kylee are or anything like that. You can be writing business with wherever you feel is the best fit for you. But just make sure that it is the best fit for you. So I think, that's important. And, maybe I'm getting off topic of the case design. Maybe I've kind of expanded to what to do as a new annuity agent. But I guess to be more on the nose and focus on what I would say for a case design is, once you have done those things and you have an outlet or someone to whom you can reach out with questions, directed and focused questions like your mentor, and you have that scope and breadth of knowledge, and you have your product knowledge that you have, because you never lead with product with the client, right? You lead with concept, and then you take a product that you already know and match that with the features of the particular situation that's going to solve, the quandary or the dilemma for the client. And so, yeah, in terms of a case design, once you have all of the information that we just listed, the goals, the income, the assets, and things like that, then you figure out what's your target, what's your solution, what are you hoping to accomplish, what are you trying to do? So is there a $2,000 shortfall in income if one of the spouses passes, because that's what his or her Social Security benefit is? Okay, great. And now we also know that there's, money in a 401k, money in an IRA, that they have a brokerage account with one of your favorite brokerage houses. They've got some cash savings for a rainy day. And then you ask them, what's the cash savings for? And if they tell you it's for future care needs or something like that, well, then that's a long-term care opportunity where you can reposition some of those assets and use them in a leveraged fashion instead of a dollar for dollar spend down, if that's what they're there for anyway. And so you take all that information and you figure out a target, like, for example, in this example, a $2,000 income shortfall, and you realize, okay, well, we can use X amount from this 401k, just left pocket to right pocket. It's not going to cost the prospect a dime. It's just reshuffling the deck of cards they already have, but providing a solution that and that's what insurance is, if something were to happen and you were to need that money, you have a solution already in place there waiting for you. And all you do is you call Ryan, you call Kylee, you call Garrett, you call your agent, and you say, unfortunately, my husband, my wife passed. We need to implement this solution. And then we do it. And there you go. It's already there. It's already in place. So that's what I would do for case design is pick a target, pick a goal that you're aiming for, and then figure out a solution to get there. Present that.
You said two things in there that just strike a chord with me, that are just foundational, fundamental things that I live by when it comes to doing this. The first one that you said that just really hit home is find a mentor. Find somebody who can go through and do this. That one of the things that we go through in our class, and people say, so when do we get into the products? It's like, you don't need the products. You don't need to know what they are. Right now, you need to know how to introduce yourself, how to do a fact finder, how to find a need. Then you bring that back to your mentor, Garrett, Kylee, me. There's lots of them out there, and they will help you figure that piece out. But you're not there, and don't waste your time on that because you don't know how to close it anyway. So but having somebody who, and the things that you said, similar value, similar business style, similar, that you've got to be of like mind. Because we've all been in careers where our trainer or a coworker or somebody does something that maybe we morally don't agree with, or the approach is not something we're comfortable with. So finding somebody that is of like mind and the same moral caliber is critical. The second thing that you talked about was asking questions. In my opinion, and this is totally my opinion, the best sales book ever written is called Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. And this thing came out in the early 80s, and he is not a sales guy. He is a statistician. And he went through and he did this 10 or 12 year long study, and he realized that the people that were more successful in sales asked more questions, and they asked different types of questions. And by asking a series of questions in the appropriate manner with the right intent, and again, intent's a big one, that the client and the individual will generally sell themselves on the product. Their own words would just say, hey, I want that. And I had a meeting here recently. I sat down with a client, and I had a great fact-finding meeting with her, and I was like, yeah, this is perfect. Everything. She said, I want safety, I want security, I want guarantees. And I mean, she's just using all the right buzzwords. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a slam dunk. And I went in and I sat down with her and I said, let's go ahead and talk about this. And I said, I've found several solutions, and I started to describe it. It's like, stop, those are annuities. I was like, yes, they are. I don't want an annuity. They're too complex. Their fees are too high. And she just went down this laundry list of stuff. And I said, now, one of the things here about it is like, now, some of those things you said might be true on certain products. However, the solutions I'm recommending you, that is not the case. Can I take some time and share with you what I've got here? Educate you, teach you about this. No, I told you, I don't want annuities. Don't recommend a single annuity opportunity for me. And in that point of time, I thought, I don't want you as a client. As far as, and so the compensation on the other end is nice, but it's not worth the heartache that you're going to give me in between then. And so I packed up my things and I left because, again, she was unwilling to listen. There was not a level of humility and being teachable, which is something that I think both clients need and agents especially, that don't come to these classes, whether that be with Annuity Fundamentals or Annuity Producers, and come in and tell us, this is how I'm going to do it. It's like, no. If you knew how to do it, you wouldn't be here already. Please,
yeah, you'd be doing it.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, it's like, all right, let us take you, and I always say, you're right here. I want to give you right there. Let's just tweak a little language here for you, but be teachable. Be teachable. Now, we've only got about 4 or 5 minutes here left, Garrett. So as we're wrapping this up here, go ahead, give us a kind of a synopsis of the SNAR Academy and the Annuity Producers website. Again, what you guys have got there. Kind of just give us a quick bullet-pointed offer there. What's there?
Absolutely. Yeah, beautiful. Real quick, too, to your point, and this is something that I always struggle with, too, is the 2 ears, 1 mouth mentality is just shut up. Ask the questions. Learn how to ask the right questions, and then just listen, right? Yep. Because the more that you do that, the more information that you're going to get, and you're not prying the information out. You're being offered that information. It's only going to help everybody involved. And Ryan, to your point, yeah, there's always going to be people that just think annuity is a dirty word, but I always ask them, is like, so you're not planning on taking Social Security? And then we go down that rabbit hole. We talk about how Social Security is just a giant government-run annuity, and then we can assess what their thoughts about the government are without getting political or anything. But hey, whether you agree with, don't like the federal government, how do you feel about the way that Social Security is run? They're like, what if I had a solution that was a similar situation, but with a financial institution on a contractual basis that is guaranteed, that cannot change? Oh, okay, interesting. Maybe I'll listen to that, right? Like if we take the word annuity out of the equation, or just say like, a pension is an annuity, Social Security is an annuity. It
Yeah.
kind of brings down some walls and stuff. So anyway, but yeah, to answer your final thing with the final minutes that we have here. So yeah, the SNAR Agent Academy, like what we said before, it is our monthly subscription model. We have hundreds of hours of content in there. We have the fact finders. We have all the different things. It's all of our recorded content, so it's just a giant vault that you can access on demand at any time. That is, we charge a monthly subscription for that because we have hosting fees and things like that. But aside from that, for new agents, we have completely 100% free resources, including, like what we said at the beginning of the call, which is our Thursday 11 a.m. Zoom. We'll have links here, where we just go over just a new topic every single week, and it just stays current, relevant, etc. Things that we're going through, case designs. If you have a case that's giving you particular trouble and you have done all of the things that we said and you have the goals and the fact finders and things like that, not just, hey, show me an illustration, but you have an actual case, you can throw it out there. We've done this in the past. We'll do a live case design. We'll use different names and we'll redact all that information so we don't give out any personal information over the internet. But yeah, we'll do live case design because why not? We're actively writing that. We'll show like unique solutions, like, for example, writing a guaranteed lifetime income annuity, the income of which is used to fund a long-term care insurance plan.
Yeah.
On a 10-pay model where after 10 years, the income annuity is still paying, the long-term care insurance policy is paid off. And not only is it 2 sales for the client, for the agent, but it's 2 different levels and layers of protection for the client. And all the while, you don't have to charge the client a dime because your compensation comes directly from the insurance company. So you're just reshuffling the deck of something that the clients already have. That's just one example of something that we might go over on the Thursday call. It's just, kind of unique sales concepts. And then, yeah, Annuity Producers, like we said before, it's an independent, unbiased, just think tank mastermind group of agents of all different calibers and of all different experience levels, of all different levels of success, however you want to measure that. And it's designed for folks who are not even in the annuity space who want to break into it, and for folks who are well seasoned in the annuity business, all to get together and to share and to collaborate so that all ships rise with the tide. And yeah, we all just become better, and we make the word annuity rather than a dirty word that people, like Ryan was describing, might encounter. Rather, we make the word annuity a household word that people can kind of go, okay, yeah, I see that. I see the value there. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Garrett, thank you so much. And for those of you watching, I hope the one takeaway you got from this is you need support. And there are people like myself, Garrett, Ryan, Annuity Fundamentals, Annuity Producers, who are wanting to help you. We are not going to start your engine for you, though. That's your job. Our job is to help give you the resources, the language, the questions, the material, the presentations. I mean, we want you to be successful. There are people out there that want you to be successful, but what the 3 of us can agree on is we're not the ones who are going to make that first step. That first step has to be you and wanting it. But there are resources out there. So check out Annuity Producers. We'll have their information in our comment section. And then annuityfundamentals.com as well. And find a home. I mean, Garrett and Roy, they do some pretty awesome stuff. And so does Annuity Fundamentals. So it's really just what makes you feel comfortable. So thank you so much, Garrett. I know our audience can see how real you guys are and just the value you bring just by being yourself. So thank you for coming on, and hopefully we can get some people coming to your class and our class and get people writing annuity business. It can be life-changing, guys. I mean, talk about life. Like, let's talk about a commission for just 2 seconds. Want to write a Medicare? Great, $400 or $500. You can add an annuity to that and make 5 to 7% of whatever that annuity is. So really, get out of your comfort zone, take that first step, and find people like-minded who want your success. So thank you so much, Garrett. We appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us. And we will see you next time.
Thanks so much for having me. I'll definitely see you on the next one.